What if just 60 seconds could change the direction of your entire life? Right now, God is inviting you into a moment that holds more power than you realize. 1 minute may seem insignificant in the flow of a busy day, but it holds the power to completely realign your life when it is given with intention. Most people underestimate the value of a single moment because they are focused on long processes and distant results. Yet real transformation often begins in an instant of decision. When you take 60 seconds to pause, to disconnect from distractions, and to center your thoughts on God, you are not just stopping time or resetting direction. Life becomes overwhelming when your mind is scattered and your focus is divided, but alignment brings clarity, and clarity brings control. In that 1 minute, something powerful happens within you. Your thoughts begin to settle, your emotions begin to stabilize, and your spirit reconnects with its source. You start to remember who you are and why you were created. Many people walk through life reacting to situations instead of responding with purpose, and this is what creates confusion and stress. But when you give yourself 60 seconds to realign, you shift from reaction to intention. You begin to move with awareness instead of pressure, and that changes everything. Your decisions improve because your perspective becomes clearer, and when your perspective changes, your outcomes follow. This is not about the length of time, but about the depth of connection. One focused minute can achieve what hours of distraction cannot. When you pause and say, "God, guide me," you are inviting order into your thoughts and direction into your actions. That simple act repositions your mindset and reminds you that you are not alone in your journey. It gives you the strength to move forward with confidence rather than fear. Many people are searching for answers in complicated places, yet the clarity they need can begin in a single moment of stillness. When you make this a habit, the impact multiplies. 1 minute each day becomes a consistent point of alignment that strengthens your awareness and sharpens your focus. Over time, you will notice that you are less anxious, more decisive, and more at peace with your path. This is because alignment eliminates confusion and replaces it with purpose. You begin to operate from a place of understanding rather than uncertainty, and that shifts the entire quality of your life. What once felt overwhelming starts to feel manageable, and what once seemed unclear begins to make sense. Never underestimate the power of a single minute given with intention. It is not just a pause, it is a realignment of your entire being. When you consistently take that time to reconnect, you are building a life that is not driven by chaos but guided by purpose. And that is where true transformation begins. Attention is the most valuable currency you possess, yet it is often spent without intention. Many people believe that giving more time to something automatically makes it meaningful, but time without focus is empty. What truly creates impact is not how long you spend, but how present you are in the moment. This is why attention matters more than time. You can spend hours distracted, worried, or unfocused and still feel unproductive, but a single minute of complete attention toward God can bring clarity, peace, and direction that hours of scattered effort cannot provide. When you give God your attention, even briefly, you are making a conscious decision to shift your focus from chaos to order. Life constantly competes for your attention. Problems, responsibilities, fears, and distractions all demand space in your mind. If you allow them to dominate, they will drain your energy and cloud your judgment. But when you intentionally redirect your attention toward God, you are choosing alignment over confusion. In that focused moment, your thoughts begin to organize, your priorities become clearer, and your spirit becomes steady. It is not about how much time you give, but about how deeply you connect in that time. Most people struggle not because they lack time, but because their attention is divided. They try to do too many things at once, think about too many worries at once, and as a result, they lose effectiveness. Attention requires discipline. It requires you to pause, to be still, and to direct your mind with purpose. When you give God your full attention, even for 60 seconds, you are training your mind to focus on what truly matters. That focus begins to influence every other area of your life. Your work improves because you are more present. Your relationships strengthen because you listen more deeply. Your decisions become wiser because they are made from a place of clarity. There is power in undivided attention. It creates connection, and connection creates transformation. When you approach God with sincerity and focus, you are not performing a routine, you are building a relationship. And relationships are not measured by duration alone, but by quality of presence. A short, genuine moment of connection is far more powerful than a long, distracted one. This is why attention carries weight. It signals intention, priority, and value. As you begin to practice giving focused attention instead of just time, you will notice a shift in your life. You will become more aware, more intentional, and more aligned with your purpose. The noise around you will lose its control, and your inner clarity will grow stronger. What once felt overwhelming will begin to feel manageable, simply because your focus has changed. In the end, it is not the hours you invest that shape your life, but the attention you bring into each moment. Small actions repeated consistently have the power to produce extraordinary change over time. Many people are waiting for a breakthrough moment, a big opportunity, or a sudden shift that will transform their lives overnight. But real and lasting change rarely happens that way. It is built quietly, day by day, through simple decisions that may seem insignificant in the moment. Consistency is what gives those small actions meaning. Without it, even the greatest intentions fade. But with it, even the smallest effort becomes a force that cannot be ignored. When you choose to give God just 60 seconds every day, it may not feel like much at first. It may seem too small to matter, too brief to create any real impact. But that is where most people misunderstand the principle of growth. Change does not come from intensity alone. It comes from repetition. That 1 minute practiced daily begins to shape your thinking, your habits, and your awareness. It becomes a foundation. And once a foundation is set, everything built on it becomes stronger and more stable. Consistency creates rhythm, and rhythm creates discipline. When you show up every day, even in a small way, you are training your mind to value commitment over convenience. You are proving to yourself that growth is not about feeling motivated all the time, but about staying faithful to the process. Over time, that discipline begins to influence other areas of your life. You become more focused, more reliable, and more intentional in everything you do. What started as a simple 1-minute habit begins to expand into a lifestyle of purpose and direction. The power of small consistency also lies in its ability to compound. Just like a seed planted in the ground, the results are not immediate, but they are inevitable if you keep nurturing it. Each day you give that minute, you are adding to something greater than what you can see. Your peace grows, your clarity sharpens, and your confidence strengthens. You may not notice it in a single day, but over weeks and months, the difference becomes undeniable. What once felt difficult becomes natural, and what once seemed distant becomes reality. People often quit because they do not see instant results, but consistency requires trust. It requires you to believe that what you are doing today is shaping who you will become tomorrow. When you remain steady, even in small efforts, you are building momentum. And momentum, once established, carries you forward with increasing strength. That is how big change happens. Not in sudden bursts, but in steady, faithful steps. Never underestimate the impact of showing up every day, even in the smallest way. That 1 minute of consistency is not just a habit, it is a seed of transformation. And with time, it will grow into something far greater than you ever imagined. Alignment is the key that unlocks both purpose and power in your life, yet it is often overlooked because people focus more on activity than direction. You can be busy, productive, and constantly moving, but if you are not aligned with your true design, your efforts will feel draining and unfulfilling. Alignment is not about doing more. It is about doing what you were created to do, in the way you were designed to do it. When your thoughts, actions, and intentions come into harmony with God's purpose for your life, something powerful begins to happen. You stop striving and start flowing. Purpose is not something you chase endlessly. It is something you discover through alignment. Many people feel lost because they are trying to define their lives based on external expectations rather than internal truth. But when you take even a small moment to reconnect with God, you begin to realign with the original blueprint. In that alignment, clarity emerges. You start to understand your strengths, your calling, and your direction with greater confidence. Confusion fades because you are no longer guessing. You are responding to a deeper sense of knowing. Power is also a result of alignment. It is not about control over others or external success alone, but about the strength that comes from being grounded in who you truly are. When you are aligned, your decisions carry weight because they come from clarity, not pressure. Your actions become more effective because they are guided, not forced. You no longer waste energy trying to fit into places that do not match your purpose. Instead, you operate with focus and intention, and that is where true power is revealed. Misalignment, on the other hand, leads to frustration and exhaustion. It creates a constant sense of struggle because you are moving against your natural design. You may achieve temporary results, but they often come at the cost of peace and fulfillment. Alignment removes that tension. It allows you to move with confidence, knowing that your steps are connected to something greater than yourself. This is why even a brief moment of realignment can have such a profound impact. It shifts your entire perspective and repositions your mindset. As you make alignment a daily priority, you will begin to notice a transformation in how you live and think. You will feel more at peace with your journey, more certain about your direction, and more energized in your actions. Opportunities will begin to make sense, and decisions will become clearer because you are operating from a place of understanding. Your life will no longer feel scattered but focused and intentional. Alignment is not a one-time event. It is a continuous choice. And every time you choose to realign, you are unlocking deeper levels of purpose and greater expressions of power within you. In the end, it all comes down to a simple yet powerful choice. Will you give God your attention, even if it's just for 60 seconds? Within that small window lies the ability to realign your thoughts, restore your peace, and reconnect with your true purpose. You don't need perfect timing, perfect words, or a perfect situation. Just a willing heart and a focused moment. When you commit to showing up consistently, even in the smallest way, you begin to unlock a life of clarity, strength, and direction that cannot be shaken by circumstances. So starting today, make it your discipline. Pause for 1 minute, be still, acknowledge God. Let that moment guide the rest of your day. Don't wait for change, create it through consistency. Give Him 60 seconds and watch how your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. The shift you've been waiting for can begin in a single focused minute. Give God your 60 seconds today and watch everything start to change.